school gamers, people probably over the age of 30, maybe even the age of 25, y'all remember back in the day when video games didn't even have online capabilities. We didn't have such things as multiplayer, leagues, or leaderboards and all that shit. Hell, co-op was when a friend came over and you plugged in the second controller into your Nintendo Genesis or whatever fuck console you had. Now, we have all kinds of shit online, but no matter how much shit you can throw into an online game, one often overlooked portion of Call of Duty has been the campaign. Before Black Ops 2 was released, the formula had been pretty much the same shit every fucking year. A 4-hour storyline filled with explosions, an incoherent storyline, horribly bad enemy AI, and a clusterfuck of firefights to make it to the next checkpoint so that you don't die around the goddamn corner. It's the same shit over and over again every single year. Now, I give credit to Treyarch for at least trying to offer up a chance at different endings. Although, let's be honest, like any other game that has attempted different endings, how you get to the endings really are not that different. Sort of like how Mass Effect 3 had this pushing the red, blue, or green buttons. Now, I also want to give credit to Infinity Ward from trying to get away from the Modern Warfare narrative. You know, with Soap and Price and Roach and all that stupid shit. It had the most unbelievably ridiculous storylines you could possibly ever think of. Oh man, we're going to get into that clusterfuck a little bit later. But anyway, I want to talk about fixing the campaign and tweaking co-op modes, another underappreciated aspect of Call of Duty. Now, I'm not going to get into a whole storyboard of what plot I would have or be specific about the details of a storyline. I just want to keep the shit basic to what Call of Duty needs to do to fix the mechanics and playability of the game. Now, from a realistic standpoint, the campaign has become irrelevant to the developers, and I'm sure there are plenty of you listening out there that haven't even played the campaigns in some of the games that just went straight to the multiplayer. Most people probably play the campaigns when Xbox Live goes down or when PlayStation Network gets hacked again. The overwhelming majority of the time people playing Call of Duty is for multiplayer. That's an undeniable fact of the game. So when developers half-ass a campaign, they make it 4 hours short to allow you to head to multiplayer quicker. They give more attention to online balance and bugs than to campaign, shitty-ass storyline elements and bad AI. You can almost understand why they do it. They spend months making a campaign that we spend 4 to 5 hours playing. But we spend months on multiplayer. Unfortunately, when the multiplayer starts playing like shit, and co-op mode is more worn out than a 13-year-old quickscoper shit-stained underwear, the half-ass nature of campaigns become magnified. If you're going to put something in the game, you do it right. You make the best fucking product possible. In the past few years, the half-ass product shows that developers are trying to squeeze way too much shit into such a short development time, and corners are getting cut. So, where do I begin to fix this bitch? Obviously, at the top of my list is a new storyline, which Call of Duty Ghosts seems to be coming through on. It's new, it's refreshing, and hopefully, it actually makes sense. Now, I know we have the dude that wrote that movie, Traffic, doing the storyline for Ghost or whatever the fuck, but anyone that watched that movie probably felt like the first 90 minutes was some incoherent mess, and then maybe like at the 2-hour mark, the shit started making sense. I know Call of Duty likes to jump from place to place, backdrop to backdrop, but that shit has to make sense. It doesn't need to be believable, you know, because the ragtag Russian militia invading the US, beating the US down is so fucking believable. But it has to make sense. The storyline can't just jump from place to place and expect people to just go along with that shit. That was the problem in Modern Warfare 2. You guys remember that shit? Oh, look, I found a bullet from this criminal that just shot me. Oh, and this bullet is from a war criminal in Brazil, so let's go there. Oh, and he got his guns from Africa, so we're gonna go there. And then we're gonna find out that these guns originated from Russia, where Captain Price is being held as a prisoner for some unknown fucking reason. We need to break the motherfucker out. That shit was horrible, man. No more of that crap. It needs to have a logical flow to the game. So ask yourself this: does the shit make any fucking sense? The problem Call of Duty developers both have is that they come up with an idea for a firefight and then apply some storyline to the motherfucker. It's like, hey, let's have an all-out brawl in a Russian gulag. Hey, let's scale the Burj Dubai Tower, Burj Khalifa, whatever the fuck they want to call this shit now. Hey, how about running across rooftops and favelas and randomly ending up in Vietnam flashbacks or in Antarctica to find some fucking fart gas? You could have sent a talking 3-headed porcupine with peg legs to planet buttfucker, and the shit would have made the same amount of logical sense as the decisions in prior Call of Duty games. Write your fucking story first. Then come up with set pieces to match that. These fucking developers think of cool shit to add to the game, then write a script around it and hope it fucking works. No, motherfucker, that's how you end up with Michael Bay type movies that make no goddamn sense. If you look at what successful storylines have done over the past 10 years, BioShock, The Last of Us, Halo, Half-Life, their storyline, their plot, their story arc is set ahead of time. They know the beginning, the middle, and end of their story, and they create scenes around that story for their action sequences. Call of Duty has admitted to doing the exact opposite. Treyarch blatantly said that in Black Ops 1 they wanted a snow level and they wanted to bring the MP40 to the game, and they didn't know how. So they added the Antarctica level to the story just so they can add the MP40 to the game. Seriously, that's not how to create a coherent story, motherfucker. One way to really limit their bullshit is seamless chapters, something that has been done very well in other games. A game like Uncharted does it well, Crysis does it well. The game rarely breaks after a chapter and just flows right into the next sequence. Every now and then they have to stop and transition to a new location. Sure, every game has that. Every game has cutscenes and shit like that. But right now, each chapter in Call of Duty stops, a new chapter begins in a new area, that stops, the next chapter begins in another area, so on and so forth. That's not storytelling. That's throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. It goes back to the basic problem of incoherent shit not mixing together. When you have ways of connecting chapters, connecting missions, and doing it seamlessly, you build a story with characters we give a fuck about. When you do it in pieces, you get bullshit like Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1, where the sum of the pieces do not add up to a complete story. You know, one thing that Call of Duty has done right is the variety of missions. It's not just a shooting gallery every fucking time. You know, we have vehicle missions, we have some stealth missions and shit like that, but I would like to see more of that, and I would like to expand upon that where not every fucking mission ends up in a gigantic firefight. I mean, shit, every mission ends up with some gigantic shootout and shit like that. Yes, this is a first-person shooter, but elements of stealth are nice. Elements of driving or flying or puzzles, they all break from the norm. I'm not saying every mission needs this, but just break the bits up so we have a little bit more variety in this game. Not everything needs to be a gigantic firefight to end a fucking mission. The final improvement that campaigns need are better enemy AI. I mean, it's really fucking embarrassing. I'm sorry, but this fucking whack-a-mole method of enemies fighting from cover is goddamn horrendous. Just play a Call of Duty campaign and watch how enemies behave. Don't shoot them. I'm literally talking, just watch what they do. You'll see these idiots not taking cover, just standing out in the middle of a shooting zone waiting to get hit. Look at the enemies that do take cover. They break from cover from the same spot every time. Every single time. They pop out of cover, it's from the same fucking spot. Infinity Ward slightly altered that in Modern Warfare 3. Treyarch barely altered that shit in Black Ops 2. And both are miles behind other shooter games. I mean, part of this is running on this 10-year-old engine that's about to hit puberty, but come the fuck on, man. 7 years ago, Killzone 2 released a technical demo trailer showing how intelligent their enemy AI was. Some people were in awe of what they saw, some people called bullshit. But when you played the game, they were really intelligent. They surrounded you, they swarmed you, they didn't pop out of cover from the same spot over and over again. They moved from location to location to get a better shot on you. And if you waited around too long to make a move, they began to strategize to flank you or blind fire out of cover to avoid them getting shot. This was 7 fucking years ago, and it was brilliant back then. Since then, every action-worthy game has taken notice and have improved their AI as well. Halo, Uncharted, Gears of War, Battlefield, Mass Effect, Bioshock, The Last of Us, Crysis, Far Cry, you name it, the enemy AI has improved dramatically over the years. Up in the difficulty level doesn't do shit in Call of Duty. The AI is still fucking stupid. The only things that you change when you up the difficulty is that you have less health, they have more health or better accuracy, and they're gonna shoot you quicker when you're seen. That's it. They don't flank, they don't take cover, they certainly don't improve their tactics. Literally, it's just fucking health and accuracy. That's it. Call of Duty is the slow kid on the block. All they've done is minor tweaks. We no longer have the clown car effect from enemies of Call of Duty 4. You remember that shit? You kill an enemy and he respawns in the same exact fucking spot where you have to advance past a point to stop them spawning shit. That shit is gone. Thankfully, that shit is gone, but their stupidity isn't. I see how horrifying Treyarch enemy AI is, and quite frankly, it's fucking embarrassing in this day and age. Infinity Ward makes their enemies move a bit more, but they're not actually flanking or surrounding you. They're just literally moving from spot to spot and popping out of cover the same way as before. That's not improvement, assholes. Better AI is needed throughout this game, and that includes the next game mode, co-op. Co-op is so underappreciated and so undervalued by both developers, particularly Infinity Ward, who could do so much more. Yes, they've made strides and improvements. Yes, Call of Duty Ghost seems to be doing something new and improved for their co-op portion of the game, and Treyarch right now is on top of their game with co-op. There's no doubt about that. Treyarch knows how to make good co-op, but improvements can be made to an already quality mode, but undervalued portion of the game. Now, I want to make this clear. I did a video not too long after Black Ops 2 came out about zombies. I like zombies. Matter of fact, it's probably the only thing I like about Treyarch games, and it's true. It's the one decent thing they know how to do without frustrating people. The problem is, it has nothing to do with Call of Duty anymore. It started out as an Easter egg in World at War, you know, a late game add-on that turned out to be the best part of the game. You know, undead Nazis, you can't go wrong with that. But at least it had some connection to the game when it was introduced. Killing Nazis in the campaign, killing them after the fact. Perfect connection. There's no connection anymore from zombies to Call of Duty. Honestly, I said it in that video about 8 months ago, and I'll reiterate it again. Treyarch should just make its own zombie game, its own standalone game. I know the value it adds to a Call of Duty game, adding more content to a disc, but do you see Madden adding Q*bert puzzles to their game? Do you see Halo throwing Master Chief in some go-karting races in Halo? Did The Last of Us add Pitfall? No, because they have no connection. I would like to see Treyarch make their own zombie game instead of it being an add-on feature. Then they can fully support the motherfucker on the side instead of just tacking on one zombie map per Call of Duty DLC. Man, fuck that bullshit. But anyway, getting back into co-op, another great addition in World at War was the co-op campaign with friends. That shit was fun. You get 4 buddies together, crank up the difficulty to insanity, and you try and stay alive. And that shit was a blast. We fucking laughed for hours doing that shit, man. I would like to see the campaign co-op return. Nothing fancy, nothing too difficult. Just make the campaign open to co-op play with 4 people, and you have a fun element that people can play over and over and over again. No leaderboards, no ranking up, just literally co-op campaign. I would also like to see Spec Ops branched off into a greater co-op mode. This 2-player shit is annoying. You know, co-op always works better with 4 players or more fighting through countless enemies. Keep the Spec Ops type mission, but add more people to them. Build on the crazy objectives and shit like that. Have more players, bigger parties allowed at one time. That would be an even bigger draw to the co-op portion. Have speed runs on Spec Op missions where the best team times are measured, or have branching elements of Spec Op missions where you can have multiple endings and shit like that, or multiple paths on how you can complete each mission, sort of how Resistance 2 randomized what mission and what area you'll be fighting in next. That shit was fucking great. Another part of the game is survival modes or horde modes, whatever you want to call the shit. Enemies attacking you non-stop and shit. As fun as it is, it needs an end round. Right now the shit is endless. And they need to put a feature that caps the waves, whether it's 10 waves or 15 waves, whatever the fuck it is. Give the game an objective that has a definitive end. Right now, we don't have that. Give us an objective to achieve in survival, and that would easily improve the game. But running around endlessly and finally dying when you feel like it, it's just lazy programming. Just give us a fucking end round objective on survival mode, so we're not just sitting there for 18 fucking hours trying to get to level 9,000 or some shit like that. Right now, Call of Duty has a pretty good co-op, and it's hard to knock it or saying that it needs an overhaul. It's actually quite fun to play both Treyarch and Infinity Ward's version of co-op, but there's certainly room for improvement. The improvements I want are simple, but it'll be more than just the copy and paste shit we see each year. Combine that with the campaign, Call of Duty can improve on more than just multiplayer. They have the ability to improve in multiple areas of the game and should continue to improve on all facets of the game. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you're gonna add it to the game, don't fucking half-ass it. Don't add something with minimal support and pretend that you did us a favor by adding some watered-down product so you can focus on your lag-infested online bullshit. And shit, give me more than a fucking 4-hour campaign of explosions. For that, I can watch 2 Michael Bay movies, man. Anyways, as sad as it is, there is only one more video left in the BluePrint series. One more to go before the entire BluePrint series is completed, so you guys want to make sure you catch on that one. Anyway, as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit, and I'll see you guys in the final BluePrint video.